Welcome to Reckless Speculations, 3R's Sports, Twisted Thoughts. Raj is always late, never shows up on time. It's our Wednesday night at 9 o'clock show, the best 99 minutes and 59 seconds of the week. First of all, one guy comes home and the other one goes. Robbie Davis this time reporting in from the beach.
Yeah, so I'm just curious what Raj's agent's doing that my agent's not. He can show up late every week and I'm working on vacation. Like I need to renegotiate my contract, Randall. What's going on here?
I think Raj is on some time that I don't even know. And then he'll show up right in the middle of a conversation and derail us for 45 minutes, but it's okay. That's what makes it reckless speculation. Back with the worst contract. We've got to agree the rookie gets the worst contract, but he don't need the money. He's already got Ronald Acuna money. From this time, somewhere in the greater Davidson County metro
College Grove.
Brendan Chang.
What's going on? Yeah, so last week, I agree with Robbie. I had to call in. I was on a balcony. There was, a fire pit below me with guys and, frat boys over there pounding beers, trying to mute myself in between. So this week is much better back home. But Savannah is pretty sweet, and Robbie's there now, so I know he knows he's feeling the vibes. It's pretty good.
A fantastic town. If no one's been there, just a quick tourism plug. So much English history and Civil War history, and a fantastic walkable city. And I went to Tybee Island today. It was cold today, but I can imagine during the summer it's amazing. It was still amazing during the winter, but definitely a must-see if you're traveling in the Southeast.
I agree. The cool thing about that place is just like every road you drive down, it's like a tunnel of trees. I mean, the trees just overhang. It's just beautiful. So
yes, it truly is.
It truly is. I don't know. I haven't spent a lot of time down there, but Savannah is truly one of my favorite places to go in the whole world. It's less touristy, good food. It just doesn't feel like you're on a normal tourist vacation. It still has a small town feel.
It's like every square block you turn around, there's like a park in the middle of,
absolutely
a square block, which is just gorgeous. The trees are beautiful. People are out running and biking, and it's a cool town.
Well, almost everyone I told, like, hey, I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. They're like, oh, that's not too far. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's not too far, but it feels a world difference away.
Right. Yeah.
Good point. Well, since Raj has not showed up, we're going to move on. First of all, tonight is sponsored by Camden Smith. Hard to hold on to the bauble. Releasing tonight at midnight on all streaming forms. If you didn't hear at 7 o'clock, go back to RiverCity-Media. Camden's a 16-year-old singer-songwriter. Robbie, I really need you to get into entertainment law. I think he's going to need you at some point.
I can do that.
Sure, and look who showed up.
Hey.
Hey.
What time is it? I'm on West Coast time.
Sleep in May, huh? What's going on?
It's 9 o'clock in Central Indian time.
Hell yeah, it is. IST is an hour and a half later, so I'll see you guys at 10:30. That's Indian Standard Time. We sleep in May is John Rothstein. Robbie knows that. That's what he says about college basketball. From now on out, we don't sleep until May.
Fair enough.
Let's get to the first subject. We've been stalling, waiting on our exclusive lawyer number 2. In our new format that is evidently all changed around, inside joke, let's start with the NFL. This last weekend we saw, to me, the NFL is even closer to its parity. We saw what I consider a couple of games that went what I expected to, but let's start first on the West Coast, where the Cards have really taken control of the NFC West. Robbie Davis, first one up. Let's start with Arizona, Seattle. Are you surprised at this point of the season the Cards are 2 games up on the Rams?
I'm a little disappointed in the Rams. The Cards, I think, who I thought they would be. The Seahawks, though, like that division, which I think started off to be one of the strong divisions in football, has kind of imploded. You've got Russell Wilson, who, hey, he was doing magic when he had weapons. And this is what same thing I said with Patrick Mahomes earlier. When you give a player that much money, you have to be smart at drafting players around him. The Seahawks have not been. They're a quarterback team with a bunch of other players, and that's not how you win in the NFL. The Rams, they're going for it. They're going for it, but they're spending a lot of money to not get it. It reminds me of the Yankees back in the post Derek Jeter kind of era. They're spending money to get it. Now they may turn on, they may get there because with this 7-team playoff team, a lot of people that are 5-6, 6-5 are still in the mix now where they wouldn't have been. So there's still a lot of games to play. The Cardinals, once they get healthy, they're the team to beat that division. But I do count out the Seahawks. I don't count out the Rams just yet.
It's to correct myself, it's a game and a half. It's 2 in the win column, and you are right. Brendan Chain, if you were going to pick a winner today, based on what Robbie just said of the NFC West, would it be the St. Louis Cardinals? That shows you how old I am.
They just got a lawsuit about that.
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals, or would you tend to go back to the Rams? The Rams have lost 2 straight and on a bye week. I just don't like where this team's headed.
I agree. I don't either. So if you look, I like what the Cardinals are doing right now. Like if you look at that game with the Seahawks, it comes down what most NFL games come down to. Like if you can run the ball, you know, your offense tends to do a lot better, and you can score points of play action. If you're one-dimensional, you've got to be two-dimensional. I mean, we saw Russell struggle. You know, Colt McCoy is the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, and they beat, you know, the Seahawks. So I'm not counting out the Rams yet, but oh my God, when Kyler Murray gets back, if they continue to play defense like they are and run the ball and control the clock, I mean, the Cardinals, they're that sleepy favorite that nobody's really talking about that, I mean, is there. They're already there. I mean, they're the top of their spot right now. So, I mean, how do you – with Colt McCoy – I mean, how long has Russell or Murray been out? 4 games?
Yeah, he's missed. Yeah, 3 or 4.
And what? They're 3-1.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty solid. So, yeah, give me the Cardinals.
All right, West Coast expert, NFC West. We sleep in May. How do you feel about the NFC West?
Well, first of all, as a Raider fan, we sleep in November. That's when the season is effectively over. Arizona, now they're not available, and usually I wouldn't say this publicly because you assholes are all in my fantasy league. Oh, I'm not allowed to swear. Sorry. You a-holes are all in my fantasy league. Arizona's
I'm gonna
offense
have
is
to get a delay, aren't I?
probably story of my life. Arizona's offense we all know about. Their defense is spectacular. I know the Seahawks have been struggling. They allowed 266 total yards. The Seahawks were 2 for 10 from 3. But listen to these point totals from the Arizona defense throughout the season. Last week, 13, then 10, 17 allowed, 21, 5 points allowed, 10, 20 points allowed. In week 2, they had their worst week, 33 points allowed. In week 1, they crushed some team from Nashville, 38-13 or something. I don't remember.
I know who that is.
Yeah. What's that, an average of, Rob? I mean, Robbie and I went to law school because we couldn't do math effectively. I mean, what is that, like 17 points or something? I mean, their defense is just crushing it. And sure, they're, the Niners aren't exactly, the Niners of the 90s with Steve Young and Ricky Waters, but Jerry Rice. But, I mean, this is the NFL, and anything can happen. And that defense, they drafted Zaven Collins, a linebacker, in the first round from Tulsa, which I thought was a bit of a reach, but he's a do-everything. The next year they went out and they got the linebacker Isaiah Simmons from Clemson, who is amazing. He's a freak. The guy can basically play all 3 positions, meaning all 3 levels. He's strong enough to play D. He plays linebacker, and he can literally play safety with his speed. He's a freak. They signed Chandler Jones. They built around it, and their defense is just tremendous. They have J.J. Watt. It's not 2014, so that doesn't really matter. But that's why I think they're better than the Rams. The Rams have star power, but star power doesn't, do anything except win you games on paper. And newsflash, signing ODB is not going to help the locker room whatsoever. So the Rams will have, more Pro Bowlers than most, but the rest of the team is totally incongruent. Not totally, but and the Arizona defense is just flat out better. So, yeah, I mean, the Cardinals right now, and they get Kyler Murray back, watch out.
Dangerous.
You got James Conner out of nowhere. What does he have, 13, 14 TDs? Are you kidding me? It's insane.
Dangerous.
Well, staying with you, Roger, and we'll come back around. Let's go into another game that I think may have been revealing this weekend. The Colts basically manhandled the Buffalo Bills. We've talked early, especially being close to the Nashville area, about the Titans have that big lead over the Colts early on. Now the Titans, without Derrick Henry, losing last week. The Colts seem to be playing as well as anybody in the AFC right now. What's your impression of the Colts? And then we'll go around the horn chain, and then Robbie take us home.
Well, first, to make this about myself, as always, my fantasy year sucks this year. And one reason why is in our league, my bigger money league, I picked Ezekiel Elliott at 7 or 8 instead of Jonathan Taylor. Oops. Jonathan Taylor had 185 yards and 4 touchdowns. He can do it all. He was catching the ball, running the ball. I don't put too much stock into this just because, it's the NFL. If we say, Houston can beat Tennessee, but then by the same token, the Bills are allowed to have a week where they just don't show up. And this was one of those weeks. This is one of those weeks where if you fumble it, it's inside your own red zone, inside the red zone. If you go 3 and out, it's a short punt and they have a short field. And that happened for like the first 6 drives, it seemed like. And to Indy's credit, they just capitalized. 3rd downs. I mean, Wentz had 106 passing yards. They grinded it out. Their defense was unstoppable. And Buffalo just usually when you leave those windows open, other teams don't take advantage every time. But to the Colts' credit, they did.
Great point about Taylor. Brendan Chain, number 1 player in fantasy football right now, coming into this week, week 12, Jonathan Taylor. You're a Titans guy. How much of a threat are the Colts to the Titans?
I think they're better than us right now because they're healthy. So they took a page out of our playbook. They watched us play the Bills. They watched how we ran the ball down their throat, and they did the exact same script. It's pretty easy on film to see the Bills defense, run defense, is not good. Not almost non-existent. I mean, 4 touchdowns, 180-something yards for Taylor. Same thing with Henry, and that's how we beat him every year. It's no secret. Like, I don't know what the big tiff is about this. If you can run the ball on the Bills, you're going to beat them. And then their the Colts defense is actually really, really good and a lot better than people give it credit for. So you give them that defense and they're healthy. They're a better team than we are right now. Now, if we're fully healthy, yeah, I'll take them. I'll take Titans all day. But right now, I mean, we've got, Dontrell Hilliard is one of our starting wide receivers right now. Like, I mean, we just dropped AP. Like, Titans are nowhere in the picture. We just got to hang on and hope we can make the playoffs in a, somewhat of a fashion and get healthy when we get there.
Good point. Robbie Davis, break down the Colts Buffalo game. I watched a little bit of this. I'm not sure that we're not watching the Colts and the Chiefs right now playing better than anyone in the AFC. What's your take?
So I don't disagree with the Colts being hot, but my fear level as a Titans fan of the Colts is 0. They started too far behind. They can't catch up to the Titans. Now, could they get a wild card? Perhaps. They have 3 of the next 4 games. They've got New England, Arizona, and Las Vegas. Those are 3 really, really hard games. They can't lose any of them. 0. If they lose one of them, they're probably out. So why I think the Colts are hot and they're dangerous, they messed around too early in the season to be a player. And so as a astronomical failure as that was the Titans to lose to Houston this weekend, it still doesn't matter in the AFC North. They're still the number 1 seed. There's still everything ahead of them. They've got New England to play. The Titans still control their own destiny. Either they're just playing really Jekyll and Hyde kind of football right now. But yeah, as far as the Colts, that's not who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the Patriots and the Chiefs and the Ravens. The Colts, they don't have a path to be scary, in my opinion.
Good
Hey,
point.
if I can, Randall, real quick. Sorry, as I mentioned to you guys, 3 hours of sleep last 2 nights thanks to a stupid kid. I only have one of them. I don't know how you people have more than one. Just you people in general, not to offend you white guys. First of all, to back up Rob, he did say the Cardinals we are who we thought they'd be, which I thought was funny because if anybody remembers Dennis Green, we are who they thought they were, and we let them off the hook. You guys remember that when we are who they thought they were, and he just kept saying that.
Yeah,
One of the greatest sound bites of all time. And I was going back for that because Dennis Green did coach the Cardinals. I think he said that when he was coaching the Vikings, but I could be wrong. It could be when he was coaching
I think
the
it was
Cardinals.
Vikings.
Okay. And then secondly, to back up Chain, people will say Buffalo's defense, they're best in the league. They are best overall in the league. But against the run, they're like 10th or 12th. And the reason why is their secondary, even though statistically Carolina is better, is easily the best in football. And they don't have to – they do bring – they have linebackers that can cover, Tremaine Edmonds, A.J. Klein, they have Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. You would think, though, with a secondary like that, they would commit more guys to the run, but they really don't. They've got linebackers that most will call undersized that can cover. So the front four, I think it's a bit misleading when people, I think Brand's right that they're not awesome against the run. But maybe because teams basically realize they can't throw it. And so they've got to go big and bring it.
They do a lot of disguising with the cover two, like they'll be in a dime package and they'll drop back into cover two man or one over man, and that's what really hurts them. And they're rushing 3 or 4, and it just
absolutely
the run is just always open. Like they try to disguise it, but you look at the film, like it's always there.
Robbie Davis, finish his point because I know you got one more.
Yeah. So I heard Rex Ryan talk about this today on Get Up or something, some of the shows. He said when we were with the Jets, Tom Brady of all people, we made him say, "Hey, we'll crowd the line. We'll make Brady have to pass. At least we know they're having to pass. One-dimensional football." He's like, the Jets are doing this on their own. They're like without pressure. They're just saying we're going to pass. And it makes it so much easier on the defense. Like the Bills quarterbacking situation, the Bills coaching situation is running them into a Niagara Falls situation where it's off the deep end.
A quarter.
All right,
hated them in the
Good
corner.
Good save.
Yeah, we'll touch on the Patriots too, but one more game to get through, and it's really an AFC show today. I thought the Cowboys going into this game with the Chiefs would put up some kind of major, I heard this called a Super Bowl preview. I heard it called all kinds of things. The Chiefs just handled the Cowboys. Brandon Shane, you're dying to get there, so lead us on.
Oh my God. So yeah, Raj kind of called the Cowboys as well, and that was part of my call. Oh my God. They just cannot win big games. It doesn't matter what situation they get in. Somehow they find a way to lose these big games. Now, credit to the Chiefs. They're starting to kind of get their stuff together. Defense is playing well. Pass rush was really good. They were all over Dak all night. Stopped the run game. I just thought, this might be the year for the Cowboys. And I'm not a Cowboys fan by any means. Don't get me wrong. But I thought the way they were playing, the weapons they had. Granted, Amari was out, whatever. But we got Gallup back. I say we. Why am I saying we? Gallup came back. I'm not a Cowboys fan, I promise. Gallup came back, and I was excited. I was like, okay, there's a good chance here. The Chiefs have been, on tilt. Defense has been shaky. Who knows if Mahomes is going to throw 2 interceptions? But they played lights out. I mean, that is the Chiefs that we expected from day one, and that is the Cowboys that we've always seen.
Rod, you kind of called this last week. Are the Cowboys just the cow? Are the Cowboys going to cowboy, or are the Chiefs really? And we'll cover it just in a minute. I'm starting to fall that Kansas City is becoming a major player again.
Yeah, dude. I think of like Happy Gilmore when he's like, somebody learned how to putt. I think like somebody remembered how to play defense and run the football and not turn the ball over and not force the ball downfield. Mahomes has thrown 11 picks. Most of them are him forcing the ball downfield, trying to make plays. Just take what the defense gives you, and you have the best options underneath out of anybody. With Kelsey, Hill, who's just a freak all over the field, but especially underneath. I mean, you can't cover him when he comes underneath. The running backs that can catch the ball. They ran the ball with Edwards-Helaire, and he's just not forcing it. And when he does that, and they play defense, and they don't turn the ball over, they're not losing.
There's too many weapons. There's too many weapons.
Absolutely. Robbie, if you were going to handicap the AFC right now, who is the Chiefs your number one team?
Yes, they are. The Chiefs are my number one team in the AFC. I'm gonna jump back to Dallas for a second. If I'm Jerry Jones and I paid Amari Cooper $100 million, $60 million guaranteed, and I'm paying him $21 million a year, and he was not available this weekend, he's not available tomorrow because he's on the COVID list and he's not vaccinated, I am losing it. Like, because it's a business decision. Like I don't know what like if I'm the owner, like what do you? There's no I, there's no we. I think Michael Irvin said this. There's no I, there's no me. There's just a ring, and they're going after the championship, and they are good enough to win the championship this year. And for him to be this selfish, to not be there for his team, is just idiotic in my opinion. And like just do it and be there for your team. He's missing 2 games, out of 17 that's going to put them in the playoff rankings. Could be a home game, could be anything. And literally you have we've talked about this, Aaron Rodgers, we've talked about this, the best team doctors in the world, and to make stupid decisions, and you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and this is what he's going to get. And now, so that's my takeaway from this game is the Cowboys could have won this game. They could have put themselves in a position to win, and they didn't because selfish decisions were made.
I don't put it all on him, but here's the thing. The protocols, if you are vaccinated, like he would only miss 1 game, right?
Yeah, right. Yes, just one.
Just one. Instead, now the protocols to unvaccinated people are, just astronomically different. Whatever.
Well, and whether they're fair or they're not, they are the protocols, and so them coming in.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like going into a job, and here are your rules to follow your job. Like it doesn't matter what the rules are. Like you have to follow the rules if you want to participate in your job and be paid for your job. Like I don't understand.
I have to do 15 hours of CLE credits a year. I don't want to do them, but I have to. If I don't, then my law loss is taken away. Like that's just like it's the rules. So you have to do it.
No, I don't. It's just it just baffles me. Like to take yourself, especially when you have a team that is in contention to win a ring, and to do something so dumb. It's selfishness.
I mean, I don't care how rich you are. Writing a check for $100 million.
And look, I'm all about like, if you don't want to get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated, whatever. But if your job requires you to get vaccinated, that's what you are trying to sign up for and do. Like, then follow what the rules are for your job. Like, I don't know.
If I can start at wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, I'm getting vaccinated. I'm sorry, that's an easy call for me.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm with you. Before we go on too far, though, we brought up the Patriots, and then we'll get to the final couple of NFL topics. The Patriots now lead the AFC East, but they have a gauntlet they must run right now. Tennessee, the week of the 28th. They play the Bills the first week of December, the Colts after a bye week in week 14, and then the Bills again. They finished the year with arguably the best schedule of anybody to finish the year with the Jaguars and the Dolphins. Do they have to come through these next 4 games, the Titans, the Colts, and twice with the Bills, 2-2, 3-1? What can they win that division now? 1 up on the Bills. Start with you, Robbie. You brought up the Patriots first.
Yeah, so they're getting the Titans at a good time. They're getting I personally think the Bills are collapsing. I don't believe in them at all. The Colts are a good team, but I think like I said earlier, I don't think there's a path to get there. So Tennessee at a week time, Bills twice. I think the Colts or the Patriots go 3-1 here. But I'm no longer a believer in home field advantage in the playoffs. I think it's quarterback advantage. I think you can go – a hot quarterback can get you through anything. And so – but I don't want Bill Belichick to have home field advantage. But to answer your question, yeah, I think New England goes 2-2, and I think they're in really good position to win the East.
Roger Mehta, break the Patriots' next 4 games down. What do you think?
Well, first of all, if you look at their schedule, the winning teams they've played have been the Saints, lost, Buccaneers, lost, Cowboys, lost. At the Chargers, they won by 3, but I can speak for about an hour on how the Chargers should have won that game. Then they did beat the Browns, I think without Mayfield, not that it mattered, 45-7. But the last 3 weeks, the defense is playing well, albeit against the Panthers, Browns, and Falcons. 6 points, 7 points, 0 points. I mean, each of those teams is inept. And the last 3 weeks, in that respective week, they were just pathetic. But they are playing good defense. That's one thing Belichick has always done. Learned under Parcells. They're playing great D. I love Ramondre Stevenson, the rookie back. Offensive line is awesome. The Raiders gave them Trent Brown for nothing because the Raiders are stupid. Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah. Courtesy of.
Hey,
but
hard to hold on to the bottle by Camden Smith, releasing at midnight tonight. And the album cover is a Jack Daniels bottle. So back to your point.
I did see that earlier. Sorry. I thought you said
right on.
Go ahead.
No, go for it. I don't know what that is. So I lost my train of thought. Thanks a lot, guys. Now, playing defense, running the ball, not turning it over. But yes, the next 3 weeks are going to be real. If the Titans played like last week, they can beat them. I agree with Rob. Playoffs doesn't matter at home, but nobody really wants to go to Foxborough in general, let alone in December. So they have an advantage there. But, the Bills and Colts are on the road. So I'd be shocked if they go 3-0. I think they can beat the Titans, but they're going to be 1-2 and 0-3 over the next 3 weeks. And if they're not, then by all means, throw them up there.
Brandon Chain, they've won 5 straight. How far does it go?
5 straight doesn't mean anything to me. This is
Panthers, Browns, Falcons, 4 of them.
This is the typical Titans game that you roll into where you're expected to lose in Foxborough, and Vrabel pulls out a W somehow. Just like the typical game that we're expected to win, and we lose to the Texans and the Jets. Same MO. Whatever. Sad song. Whatever. After that, they've got a bye, or the Bills, then a bye, and then the Colts after that. So I think they'll beat the Bills for sure. Colts, I think, win.
Colts
Titans
are dangerous right now.
Colts are very dangerous. I'm telling you, the Colts are legit, dude. Their defense is playing well. They have the best running back in the league that's healthy. And
Quentin Nelson is a concern, though. He keeps getting hurt.
Carson's not turning the ball over. He's managing the game. He's Alex Smithing it. He's doing fine. And when you have that combination and defense is playing well, like, the Colts are dangerous. Like, I know Robbie said he didn't see a path there, but I'm a little bit nervous of that backsided, like, coming in wild card, just running through people. If they catch a wild card, I wouldn't want to see them.
Oh,
I
no,
can tell you that.
I agree. If they can catch one, I agree with you. I just don't see how they can.
I mean,
I think they can. I think the AFC West is going to shit the bed. Is going to poop the bed. Real quick, Chain made a brilliant point. Wentz has thrown 18 TDs to 3 picks. 2 of the picks were against the Titans. The other one was in week 2 against the Rams. I don't know if Jalen Ramsey did it. He probably did. I don't remember. He's not turning the ball over. And when he does that, my boy Micah Pittman, USC, a great possession receiver. He's not going to run past everybody on the defense, but he's an awesome receiver. He just catches the football.
Big
They
body,
use their
good
tight ends.
hands.
They have the best line, great hands, big dude. They have the best offensive line in football, I think, as long as Quentin Nelson's healthy. Yeah, man. And with Jonathan Taylor, you don't turn the ball over and you can run the football. Good grief. You're not going to lose much.
I hear y'all saying it's that the Colts are kind of like my fantasy team. They stumbled out the gate, but they're really getting rolling now.
No, not at all, Randall.
Okay. All right. We'll wrap up. We'll wrap up the NFL.
Not even close.
Real fast. I'm to the point again that I'm on the Chiefs Bucs rematch. Let's get a quick opinion of that. Raj, do you have a Super Bowl pick? And is it the Chiefs and the Bucs?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs now in the NFC. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go Arizona. I think their defense and Kyler Murray comes back. I'm going Arizona and the Chiefs.
Robbie Davis, where are you at on the Super Bowl picks?
Oh, man. I've fallen so far from my Chargers pick. Damn it. I'm going Patriots and I'm going Packers. I hate my life.
It's 2021, right? Do you know that it's 2021?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I know. I think Mac Jones gets together. Packers and Patriots.
All
You
right,
just
Brandon
talked about
James,
reliable quarterbacks in the playoffs.
Just bring us home.
Oh,
Sorry.
man.
Sorry for blowing you up.
It's the Bucs Chiefs, man. Like Tom Brady, MVP, like he's gonna do it again. He's gonna beat the Chiefs. They're gonna win the Super Bowl, and he's gonna have 4 Hall of Fame careers within his, decade, 2 decades, or whatever he's played. So
We're probably going to swing back to that subject in a minute.
Yeah.
He's like
that's
my
just-
age, dude.
I'm just,
my age.
I mean, like he is unbelievable still. Like, come on, it's not even fair.
It's like me on the TV screen. I just keep getting better and better.
There you
It
go.
was like me playing you in Madden in '96. You remember that? Like I used to beat the crap out of you.
By the way, speaking of Madden, can I get some Brandon Che money to get me a PS5? I'm on the waiting list for like a year and a half now. Still,
I got a 2 and a 3 I can tape together, and we can get a 5.
Hey, over here in our house, we got a Nintendo Switch. We can't even get into PlayStations. I agree. I think right now if I'm picking, it's the Bucs and the Chiefs. But I tell you what, my dream Super Bowl is the Patriots and the Bucs. I think that would be the ultimate Super Bowl. Just I want to sit down and watch it, and we'll talk about
ESPN
Brady.
orgasm.
Everybody does, but Belichick's not getting there. Sorry.
Yeah. We'll come back
no
to Brady in
chance.
just a minute because we're running really short. But I want to get on to college football really fast.
Robbie.
Really short.
I think I've been the one guy that's been on the stump even more than Brandon has, who is a Ohio State fan, that Oregon had no business being in front of Ohio State. I didn't think Oregon was real. I didn't think they deserved to be there. Oregon gets just blasted. Is this the end of the Pac-12 for the playoffs? And what happened to that Oregon team that beat Ohio State at the Horseshoe? We'll start with our West Coast expert. We sleep in May, Raj Mehta.
No, it's not the end of the Pac-12 playoff chance because there never was a beginning. There was no shot. If Oregon played Ohio State now in the shoe, they'd lose by 60. It was a week 2 game with a freshman quarterback. Their defense played well. Oregon's got awesome linebackers. Justin Flo was still healthy. Obviously Thibodeau. I don't remember if he played that game. Anyways,
He did not.
Ohio State now, and we knew this would happen. Once they figured it all out, they have the best receiving core in like the last 5-10 years, and you can tell that to Alabama.
Right.
If they played right now, they would absolutely smoke them. And as far as the Pac-12 goes, I always think of the quote from Harold and Kumar, the universe tends to unfold as it should. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Rob. You can't justifiably, Rob and I, and he's still an attorney, I'm not, but we have a thing called, facts. And the fact is that Oregon beat Ohio State. And theoretically, do we know that Ohio State is probably the better team? Sure. But if we supposedly have a system based upon computers and we take it away from opinions and polls and, into more factual data in this age of metrics, then that's why I didn't freak out over it. I agree at the time, Oregon should have been ahead of Ohio State, but it was just a matter of time. I mean, Utah is a ranked team. They get it together. Their coach Whittingham is awesome. You don't go into Utah at all and win on a Friday night in the middle of Salt Lake City, cold, crazy crowd. Everybody looks the same. There's just something, they never lose in that environment. And the Ducks didn't have a chance. I knew they get smoked. I bet on Utah. But yeah, the Pac-12 didn't have a chance either. It was awesome. They beat Ohio State. They were 2-touchdown underdogs. It was like the only thing our crappy conference can hang their hat on. But, I mean, Ohio State right now, as far as they have to have the big uglies, as it said, to match up with Georgia. But, I mean, they look pretty damn good. And quarterback-wise, they're night and day better than Georgia.
All right, Shane, you feel justified a little with the Ohio State Buckeyes after Oregon falls?
Well, like Raj said, this is a matter of time. It puts a smile on my face because this is college football every year. You see these teams that battle, that maybe stumble early in the season. Typically, the Big Ten side, we schedule, at a conference and whatever, regardless. Stumbled, completely different team now. So I was not expecting what happened to Michigan State last week. I was expecting, a 10, 14-point win. And they just dominated. I mean, you look at the defense, that is what the offense was, phenomenal. We've always known the offense was going to click at some point and going to be great. But the defense, I mean, we held Walker to 25 yards. I mean, he's a Heisman candidate that rushes for over 100 yards a game. I mean, so
way
you look
ahead
at
of everybody else statistically at the time.
I mean, you just look at those statistics. This was a big smile on my face for way beyond what I thought could happen. But this is very reminiscent of that 2014 season where we lost early and, we finally got that 4 spot in. We beat Bama and then Oregon and won the national championship. So hopefully history prevails here and repeats itself.
Robbie Davis, were you more shocked at Oregon falling or the fact that Brandon Shane jumped ahead so he could talk about Ohio State first?
No, Ohio State played so well. And so this is the intriguing thing for me. They've got Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3, and Cincinnati 4. Let's just play this ahead. They obviously want – they probably want Alabama to beat Georgia because we could put 2 SEC teams in. If Alabama beats Georgia – then Ohio State goes to 1. Georgia, Bama are 2 and 3. That's a rematch 2 weeks in a row or 2 games in a row. Them jumping Ohio State, while it's like visually makes sense, on the matchups it doesn't make sense. And then if Georgia beats Alabama, do they fall?
I think
Let's say Ohio State beats Michigan, which they will. Then Alabama so Notre Dame slides in. Well, is Notre Dame 1 loss better than Alabama's 2 losses? Like they're just setting it up for just a controversy that doesn't need to be there. I don't think. It's going to be controversial because Alabama's sitting there. They lost. Maybe they get blown out by Georgia. It's not a question. But if it's a close loss, they're going to be ahead of Notre Dame, and without a conference championship, Notre Dame's sitting there. They're going to be there without a win. Like, I just think they're going to. This whole thing is, to me, just ready for disasters. Oklahoma State, they can beat Oklahoma this weekend, beat Oklahoma again in the Big 12 championship, but they still can't jump Notre Dame and Cincinnati.
They can. So they beat Oklahoma. They beat Oklahoma this weekend. They play Baylor in the national in their Big 12 championship.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they won't. Okay, I was wrong. They won't.
So then they can beat Baylor, and they're sitting at number 7 right now. I mean, they can easily slide in. If Bama loses bad to Georgia.
If Bama loses bad, if Bama doesn't lose bad, all this is out, and Bama still makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
You think You think if Bama
they don't
loses
deserve it
closely, if Bama loses closely, are we all in consensus that it's Georgia, Ohio State, Cincinnati, Bama 4?
No, I'm in consensus that they will somehow make Alabama number 3.
Wait,
so
I don't think
based on what?
You're
on what? If they lose closely,
because the SAC is so great.
No.
In that scenario, you're saying Georgia, you just beat Alabama. You have to play them again. That's not fair. They
doesn't matter.
Say, I'll play Cincinnati, and then let Georgia or let Alabama, Cincinnati.
I get the politics of it, but the logistics and just face value of it. If you lose to Georgia and it's not that close, and Cincinnati's undefeated, wins out, why? And if Alabama's going to get in, why would they jump Cincinnati?
That's what
still be.
Why would it?
They have to go.
Why wouldn't Notre Dame get in if they only have 1 loss, and that's to a playoff team in Cincinnati that's undefeated?
Because
Notre Dame beat everybody else. Is it just because the SEC? I mean, Bama doesn't deserve to go. They lost the number 1 team theoretically. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, if Alabama loses to Georgia, they have to go.
I agree.
The point weeks ago
is
they're going to put a matchup together
preferential
to
treatment.
draw TV ratings.
No, Rod.
What's
out of the playoffs? Out of the playoffs.
No, we're saying if Bama loses to Georgia, they're out. They have to be out.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't. I think Bill, Randall alludes towards, they seem to always get the benefit of the doubt.
It's money talks,
exactly. Man. They sneak in at number 4, then they win that first matchup against number 2, and then a month to
they're
prepare.
playing Georgia.
Saban's got 3 weeks.
Yeah,
you're dead.
But then they're playing Georgia
again. You give Saban 3 weeks. I don't care who you're playing. The odds are he's going to win.
Fair too.
That's just my theory.
But I agree. But are they going to really put them in that position where you play Georgia again, like Robbie said?
It's not fair to Georgia. Georgia's been the best team all year. You can't have to play the same team you just beat.
Nobody cares about Georgia right now.
Yeah,
didn't Bama and LSU do something like that? Not that you guys are the only ones that watched in this part of the country. I was like this same thing. But didn't that happen a few years ago?
Don't you live in Chattanooga?
Let's get
physically.
No, Raj is too worried about USC getting killed by
this
UCLA.
part of the country.
23.
Whatever soul I have.
All right.
Dude, nobody watched Alabama LSU.
Let's bring it
was
back
the same
together.
game a week later.
Sorry, Randall. Sorry. Go ahead, Randall.
Going too many
Go ahead,
ways.
Randall.
So here's the new. Here's the scenario.
That
yes,
affected you more than you
Alabama and
people,
LSU
by the
did
way.
that, but it was not in a championship game. Alabama and LSU had played in the regular season. They've never been a
Oh.
rematch of a team that played in the championship game.
Because they're in the
week.
same division, right? Like,
Well-
that's stupid.
Right.
Well,
yeah, I'm not
I've
saying
said
there
that-
was. I'm just
I've said
saying
this-
there's no way there's going to be this year.
So Saban has 7 championships. He has 4 SEC championships. Like the system doesn't work necessarily how you want it to work, but he wins.
So, interesting
Oh, yeah.
question. Let's go here, and then we'll go to conference championship game. Just short answers.
That's an insane stat.
Schedule out the window. Who are the best 4 college football teams? Who would Vegas have in the playoffs? I will start with Vegas would have in the playoffs Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Michigan.
How are you measuring this?
Who would be?
Is that one? Is that 1, 2, 3, 4?
This is subjective entirely.
I'm thinking Vegas. would
So you
favor-
said Alabama.
Hold on,
is
guys. Let me
ahead of-
explain before everybody gets going. Georgia would be favored over anybody they played. Alabama
Okay.
would be favored over anybody they played other than Ohio State and Georgia. Michigan would be favored over any team they played other than Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. So I'm
Until
thinking
after
about-
this weekend, then
They're going to
that's
get
gonna
rolled.
change.
Michigan and Ohio State can't both be in.
I'm just saying right now, if Vegas
Oh.
made the lines, who would be the best 4 team in the country?
Well, right now, yeah. But I thought you were talking
It's-
about like if the playoff, if the next 3 weeks will
nope,
unfold
I'm talking
as we
about-
believe they should.
Who would Vegas declare the best 4 teams?
Well, I'm sure this
Probably
is
the top 4 teams in the playoff rankings.
So
Yeah,
minus
sure.
1, I would have Georgia minus 110. I would have Ohio State probably minus 200. Alabama minus 400.
So
I would
you-
have
well,
Cincinnati.
point. Cincinnati would not be favored over Oklahoma State.
No.
Yeah, that's my top
Oklahoma
4.
State right now today? No. Oklahoma State has to win out.
Well, no,
If Oklahoma State wins out,
But he's saying if they played right now on a neutral field, would Cincinnati be the favorite or Oklahoma State? I think Cincinnati would be like a 1 or 2 point favorite. I mean,
I would
what's
favor
Oklahoma
Cincinnati.
State done?
my head-to-head matchups is Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Oklahoma State.
Brandon,
Man, I'm not discounting Cincinnati right now until I'm proven wrong. If Oklahoma State runs the table, which they very well
who
can,
would Cincinnati be a favorite over Oklahoma State on a neutral field?
no.
An undefeated
All right.
team versus a team that lost to a 5-loss team? Who's
They
Oklahoma
wouldn't.
State's best win? They got lucky to beat Baylor at home.
Everyone,
Cincinnati's best win.
disclaimer alert, Raj.
Notre
is a
Dame.
At Notre
UC
Dame.
alum.
At
He's
Notre
a
Dame.
UC
At
alum.
Notre Dame,
It was.
which is the
It was
fifth
at
one.
Notre Dame.
All right. Good
No,
debate.
But it's
I'm just going statistical. Oklahoma State has
Raj, you got disclaimer. You got to disclaim that stuff.
Nah, dude. I have as much loyalty to Cincinnati as I do to Tennessee, which is a lot.
Just
I love
Disclaim it.
this
You
place.
love the Vols. Go Vols, go.
All right, guys.
I
love
am
this
going to
debate,
games Friday and Saturday.
but let's bring it back down to the level. I want to ask a question. Is anybody other than Alabama and Georgia, is any of the conference championship games hold any intrigue for you this year? I literally think we could have Wake Forest versus North Carolina State. We could have Ohio State play Iowa. I guess the next best one to Alabama, Georgia would be Baylor, Oklahoma State. I don't even know out west, Raj. I think it's going to be
Utah
Is it
is
Oregon?
probably the winner of Oregon State. I don't even know.
Yeah.
The North.
yeah.
I honestly don't know.
It's a
I mean, for
it's
so many years in the
championship games.
SEC, it was a boring championship game because you had Alabama or LSU against some dirtbag, no offense, from the East. You know, Georgia wasn't that great. Nobody else was. So, yeah, it's awesome that we have two of the top 3 teams in the same conference and on different sides of the bracket. But yeah, I agree. Aside from that, I mean, Notre Dame, BYU as the two best independents would be the best game. Maybe Western Kentucky, UT, San Antonio in the old Conference USA title game. Yeah, I think maybe the next best game would be the Big 12, the Big 10, whatever. Ohio State's going to kill anybody that comes from the West. But yeah, after the SEC, I'd go independents, if that's a thing. Maybe
Robbie,
the Big 12, and then nobody cares.
What do you think? Nobody cares about the title games?
No. After those two.
This is called conditioning. This is the slow process of the championship games don't matter. Do you know why? Because they're not going to exist very long. Because they're going to a 12 or 18 playoff game, and these don't matter. And
because
so
Saban has 7 championships and only 4 SEC championships.
Yep. And so this it's all about the money. They don't want these games to matter anymore because they're going to sell the networks these games. Hey, these don't matter. What will matter is an expanded playoff. That's what's going on. It's inevitable. It's going to happen because that's where the TV money is. I don't like it. I don't necessarily like this transfer portal. Don't necessarily like the NIL, but it's what's happening. And so we have to adapt. We have to understand it. And so that's what's going to happen. These championship games now they're a nuisance instead of a profitable situation.
It's good to agree.
God bless jilted capitalistic Robbie.
All right. All right, guys. Let's stay focused. Let's get through this last one. Shane, outside of the SEC, and I know you've been an Ohio State fan, you're probably excited to see Ohio State play Iowa, but I mean, you got Ohio State a 2-touchdown favorite going into that game. Is the championship?
I mean, so let's step back a second here. We still have to play Michigan. We're an 8-point favorite in Ann Arbor. You can throw records out the window. Like this is a rivalry game. It is.
Hold on just a second. It means more than the championship game is the point I was trying to get to.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Screw the championship game. Like, if you win this game, I mean, this is – you get, Mel Tucker money. You get $95 million for, 10 years or whatever it is, or 5 years, whatever. Like, it's crazy. But Ryan Day – he's a great coach. We're on the right path, and I don't see any hiccups here in Ann Arbor. But you throw records out the window. Harbaugh's going to give his best shot for sure. I don't think they can contain the passing, and our defense is playing as well as it is. I think we're an 8-point favorite. I'm going to go ahead and put out the bet your nuts. We win by 14 points.
Absolutely. And real quick to Robbie's point, he's not even here. The conference championship games were a new advent when under the then system, which was entirely theoretical, they mattered because they were sponsored and money was involved. But now under this system, which is a bit more measured and I guess grounded, they don't matter. They're silly and they will be gone. Hey, Rob, real quick, I was just talking about how under the old theoretical system, conference championship games were a new advent because they had sponsors and they were designed to create money. But under today's system, they're useless. Really, now that it's a bit more of a meritocracy, if you will. They're going to be gone. I agree with Rob. It's always about money. That's all it's about. I just hope that we can figure out a way to settle it on the field.
All right, guys, let's move on to the next subject. I know y'all are excited when I have to interrupt you and go, all right, everybody, when you all talk at one time, nobody hears none of you. So
he said, let's stay focused. I like that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to run a resume
Dunces.
by you. I'm going to run a resume, a blind resume. He is 46 years old. He has been a previous head coach in the NFL where he was fired. He took a high-profile top 15 NCAA college football program, stayed 1 year and left, and went to a top 10 program, stayed 3 years and was fired. Everywhere he's been has brought NCAA problems, off-the-field problems with himself. He rose to a very high-profile assistant's job, stays several years, and goes to a mid-major school with mixed success. He is now back to a Power 5 conference where he's had one great year. This coach is the hottest coach in college football, and every job opening is clamoring for him. And I think you all know who I speak of. Shane, who is that be?
Mr. Lane Kiffin.
Florida, Miami, LSU. He has a pick of where he goes.
He's the hot name on the ballot right now.
For Florida, right? I thought you were talking about Bill O'Brien for a little bit, and then I got you. But
All
I
right,
mean,
Rob.
not everybody wants Kiffin. SC, LSU, do they want him? I thought Florida was like the best fit, but I don't even. I mean, that was a great call. I honestly didn't know.
I don't think he's going back to Southern Cal. That's one we can mark off the list.
Yeah,
Yes,
USC.
you can definitely mark that off the list.
Robbie Davis, he was at Tennessee for a year, and he did good things, bad things. But right now, Lane Kiffin's about to make a lot of money, I think.
Well, Jimmy Sexton's about to make a lot of money.
Robbie always brings it back to the attorney.
Yeah, I'm just jealous of his life. But I think we should do a whole show on this coaching carousel kind of thing. But if I'm Florida, do I want Lane Kiffin? I mean, I don't know. For me, my age group, my it's GD Florida. Like they've had Urban Meyer, they've had Steve Spurrier. Like I can't imagine you saying a team like going after a coach that hasn't been undefeated somewhere. Like that's coaching gold for me. So if they go there, isn't that just doing a more risky Dan Mullen, in my opinion? Like Dan Mullen's a better quarterback coach, and I think it's going back to the same well you just went to him with bad success. So I don't get it for Florida. LSU, I don't get it. LSU, in my opinion, is the best job in the entire country. There's no in-state rival. They bleed football. They bleed talent. And my God, if you win, let's
But it smells like corn dogs there.
If we take a step back, if Saban didn't leave LSU, you're talking about probably 10 to 12 championships there. Like realistically, because Alabama's not what they are, and LSU is a juggernaut.
If Jesus coached Tennessee, you're talking about 10 to 12 championships.
Well, you may be talking about 10 to 12 championships
Rob,
with Nick Saban before he leaves Alabama. That's what we're talking about. Like, let's be serious. This is what we're talking about. Like
we're just playing the if game.
I don't get the whole Lane. Lane Kiffin's I think he's good at Ole Miss. No, I don't. If I was LSU, if I was Florida, if I was UNC, no, these are big boy programs, and I want a big boy coach. And I still don't think Lane Kiffin. And this is no hatred of Lane leaving in Knoxville, because I would have left too if I was him. That's his dream job. Go try it. Get it. I don't hate Lane. I don't hate Bruce Pearl. I'm not one of these people that hates ex-coaches. But no, I would not choose Lane if I was either three of those schools.
So at Florida, they may be something else.
Jimmy Sexton.
He's Donald Duckman or Daffy, whatever. What's that? Doug McDougal or whatever the guy.
He's boss hog for like Southern coaches.
Got a point to make. Hold on.
Billions of dollars.
If he goes to Florida, he also has to steer around his ex-wife, Lane Kiffin Reeves, whose father, John, is maybe the highest profile alumni at Florida, not named Steve Spurrier. So they are. Lane Kiffin brings issues almost everywhere he goes. But is he, in your mind, with what he did at Ole Miss, is he now elite as a head coach?
Can she compete with Dan Mullen's wife at Florida? Really? Come on.
She was pretty hot. She was a cheerleader.
I mean, let's
sorry,
go.
not to be
Like,
so misogynistic.
Wait,
Don't bring in the wives here.
Brandon,
Like, come on.
Hold on.
Reckless speculation.
Reckless
I got an
speculation.
actual
Do with
point.
that.
To answer your
point,
question,
it
Randall,
would be, hold on. It's like hiring Jimmy Haslam's ex-son-in-law to be head coach at Tennessee by hiring Lane Kiffin to be the head coach at Florida.
look, but the list you just explained was one person. He has so much experience, right and wrong. He's learned a lot. Dan Mullen can lead a position group. Dan Mullen cannot lead a program. Lane Kiffin can.
Dan Mullen had Mississippi State at number 1 for several weeks.
Big
Mississippi
deal.
State.
Ended up reality,
Hey.
A bunch of guys turned seniors, and Robbie could have coached them to the same record. Not to impugn Mississippi State, but
Probably better.
All right.
Look,
exactly, probably better.
Where does Lane Kiffin end up being on the sideline to open 2022?
I'm going
LSU.
LSU, I hope.
Robbie?
Because we want Dave Aranda.
LSU. 100% LSU.
No, I'll just stick with Ole Miss and just leave it at that.
I will throw out, I think he ends up in Miami.
He's not going to Miami.
No.
No
Why
chance.
Randall? Okay,
A lot of money, less pressure.
Moderate.
He doesn't like
Why
pressure.
would he go to Miami?
First of all, he loves South Florida, which he's been open about.
He's
Number
a
two,
selfish person.
hold
though.
on, let me finish.
I love
guys.
South
Let me
Florida. If
finish,
I
let
have
me finish.
Caden money, I go there every weekend I want to.
Let me
Hey,
finish.
stay focused. Let Randall finish.
That program best fits Lane Kiffin's personality. It is an outlaw program that needs an outlaw leader. And I believe Lane Kiffin would be able to run that program much like the 90s and the early 2000s. If he wants to go rogue, Miami is the place for him to go. Now,
That's a great point.
Yeah. Do you see Kiffin wearing
And it's
that
private.
big U chain? Do you see
Hell
him
yeah.
wearing that?
yes,
No, I don't think
absolutely.
so. Absolutely
He
not.
won at FAU, and I think he's
gonna
totally
be.
Chain. No
No,
disrespect, or I rarely disagree with Chain, but I totally see him wearing that chain.
Hey,
So
I know
Kiffin,
about
he doesn't
chains.
give an F.
I know he doesn't, and that's
So-
why he's going to be at LSU. I promise. He's going to,
Briefly,
and he's going to kill it. He wants to recruit
be
there.
himself.
He wants to beat Saban.
I agree with
promise.
Randall. That's a good point.
He will do it.
That's true.
As someone who grew up going to
Kind of a
some
no-win
Miami
situation.
games,
Robbie, last
No.
one.
it's a terrible fan base. They don't care. They've got the Dolphins. They've got the Marlins. They don't care about. They've got no one. They don't care.
They've got
about
80
sports.
degrees and a beach.
Yeah,
all
like
year.
it's
Yeah.
worse than LA. with
Hey,
sports
now
fans.
they got Urban Meyer, like their favorite fan. Just kidding. It was facetious voice. Laugh.
You know what? I don't want to bring up this subject. We may put it in the coaching carousel. Could Urban Meyer end up back at Florida?
Oh God, he just needs to retire from everything.
Think about it.
Just stop. No,
We'll
No.
take him in LA, but
It would be the most interesting thing in the coaching carousel ever.
Yes.
you just stop. Mm-mm.
I don't
All right,
believe in
guys.
No.
retreads.
We are 70 minutes in. We got 20 minutes. I want to touch on college basketball and the NBA.
Let's do it.
College
Forget the
basketball.
NBA.
We're just going to talk about what you talked about. College basketball. We had a big tournament this weekend. And we talked about a preview of the local. It's got some local interest. We saw Tennessee get thrashed by Nova, then beat North Carolina. We saw Nova thrash Tennessee and then lose to Purdue. of all the performances up there, I thought Purdue was the best team that I saw. I also thought Tennessee probably got a lesson on big boy basketball when they played Villanova. We'll start in the bottom corner with Mr. We Sleep in May. What was your impression of 4 top 15, 16 teams and what we learned this early on?
So just that tournament and not Gonzaga yesterday because
talk about everything. That was a badass game yesterday,
but if you want to mention it, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, real quick on that tournament. Yeah, I mean, so looking at Villanova, their starting lineup is 3 seniors and 2 juniors, 4 of which average 14 points per game or more. That's the antithesis of a young Tennessee team. You don't want to face them in November. You want to face them when Tennessee starts to learn how to play together in March or February? Yeah, of course. But right now, Nova, UCLA beat them. That game, it was lucky to go to overtime, and that's only because Nova, whose bench is not deep, had 2 starters foul out. And Pac-12 refs are the worst. Refs are never the reason why you win or lose a game. But Nova's just a terrible matchup for everybody not named Gonzaga and probably Purdue based on their size. Answer your question, Tennessee is very talented and very deep. I kind of like them without Fulkerson. I know he's effective, but I'm just sick of seeing him. Sorry, he's been there 18 years. But, Purdue, that Edey kid learned how to play, that point guard, the European dude. And Travion Williams, I mean, that guy was considered a player of the year before Edey at averaging 20 and 15. And now he can play with them. He comes off the bench right now. Just a very big team and versatile. As what I've seen, though, Gonzaga is it's number 1 and then 30 spots and then Kansas and then everybody else. That's my opinion.
All right, Robbie Davis, what was your take? And we can come back. If you want to talk more about Gonzaga, we can bring that out. But, Robbie, what was your opinion of the tournament and what you saw and what did we learn?
Well, I want to say I applaud what Raj just said. And I'm not a sports writer. I'm not anything, but I somehow get all ball Twitter, basketball, irrational thoughts, every single loss. And they're like, got to fire Rick Barnes, got to do all this. Guys, calm down. They lost to a veteran basketball team. This is a young team finding themselves. Then they rebounded to beat a really good North Carolina team by 20. This is not football. You don't go undefeated. You build on wins and you build on losses. The reason Rick Barnes plays this schedule is to get ready for the tournament. Yes, I know we haven't had great success in the tournament, but you can't not have success if you don't challenge yourself. So everyone, just chill out. Barnes has this team. They're locked and loaded. They've got potential. Kenny Chandler won't go 1 for 9 in most games, and they won't shoot 3 for 21 the 3-point line. They are adapting to a new style of play. Chill out, relax. This team is going to be good, and just for fuck's sakes, calm down.
Hey, Robbie, I do think Tennessee.
Randall's right. They're from Philly. That's big boy basketball.
Yeah.
I do think Tennessee learned something this past weekend, and that is the ability to have a smaller lineup on the floor.
Yes,
and be more effective.
Against North Carolina, they lit them up with the small lineup.
Yeah,
play 3 guards and there's
that Huntley Hatfield kid
for that. And if you can rebound with that, that's a great lineup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shane, you being the Big Ten guy, I do agree with Rod that Gonzaga is the best team. But I'm going to go ahead and say something kind of controversial. I think Purdue is my number 2 team.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Watching Purdue, they were, Edey 7'4", 295. I mean, this guy, they also shoot well on the perimeter. They rebound well. I mean, they're just an all-around, start of a team right now. It's early. I want to go back to the Tennessee Nova game just a bit. So I know it was kind of dominant for Villanova there, but the biggest thing that I saw, the difference, they played really great defense. They shot great on the perimeter. But the Vols turnover, they were 18-7 on turnovers. So 18 turnovers for the Vols, which typically in basketball isn't a huge deal. But that kind of really stuck out for me watching the game. But yeah, we'll go back to Purdue. Size, I think they match up with Gonzaga pretty well. So they've got that freshman. What's the 7-footer freshman from Zaga?
Holmgren.
Yeah, who
nice
was
research,
great.
by the way. Somebody did their college basketball research.
Yeah, so Eddie, dude looked dominant, for Purdue, and their perimeter shooters were fantastic. They moved the ball well. They played defense. They looked disciplined. I definitely think they can contend. Not like UCLA, which got, ham-boned, if you will, by Gonzaga yesterday, that was just it was tough to watch there. But yeah.
All right, guys. Before we move on, I want to touch one more thing. Let's talk about it. And that's another kind of a off the cuff question. Do we all agree Gonzaga is number one?
Yes, clear, hands down.
Purdue, UCLA, some combinations number two.
I go Kansas, Purdue.
Yeah, I would say Purdue, Kansas.
I got Purdue number two, but yeah, something like that.
Duke's probably
UCLA's.
No, Duke's not top five.
We'll see. So Zaga's got Duke. Zaga's got Duke and Alabama in the next 3 weeks. So that's going to be fun to watch.
Anyways, ask your question, Randall. Sorry, we're interrupting.
The team that moved the most this weekend was Baylor. Does anybody watch Baylor and think this Baylor team, they graduated most of its starting lineup? Did they reload? Is Baylor a threat? So that was my question. I wanted to get everybody's opinion on where Baylor is coming off of last year's title game run. Robbie, have you saw Baylor?
Yes. I think Baylor, a threat in college basketball is, do you get a good seeding? We've seen 7 seeds win. Yes, they're a threat, and that they are well coached. They've done a well-run program. And the Big 12, Texas, you got Chris Beard coming in, redoing them. You got Texas Tech getting a new coach. A&M got Buzz Peterson still building that program. Yes, I think Baylor's absolutely a program that is a threat, and they're looking good so far. And, why aren't they a threat?
Well, Robbie, I guess my point, too, is who do you see outside of those first 5, 6, 7 teams that you've saw so far this year? You go, this is a legit basketball team.
Can I be a homer? No.
Go ahead.
You can't help it.
Yeah, you can't help it. That's for sure.
Yeah, what you want in the postseason is point guard play. And if Kenny Chandler improves what he thinks he's going to be, then yes, I'm all in on Tennessee. The other team I would look at, a team, maybe, I guess Kansas is probably in the outside. But they're a good team looking into. Auburn looked pretty good today. Connecticut also looked good. Connecticut looked really good today, beating Auburn. Cole looked really good. They have an easy schedule. They're getting the tournament. So if I have an outside the top 10 team, I'll go with Connecticut.
Raj, you always come up with the interesting answers.
Connecticut's a strong team. They came back with, people say they lost Book Knight, who was a lottery pick, but they brought back like 6 or 7 dudes, and they had a dude, Sonogo, who didn't play a lot last year. He had 30 today. 7-footer, who's just like Arizona. Arizona's got that Francis Okojo, I can't remember his name, Okoro, 7-footer that was averaging like 3 points a game. He learned how to play basketball. He's now like a 2015 guy. Arizona's starting 5 is lethal. They don't have the depth that other people have. If I'm looking right, a team that's not even ranked, that when I always look at their roster, they remind me of Houston and others, is I'm a big believer in the banger, in the 6'8", 6'9", 240 guy. Texas Tech is full of those dudes. And they're not ranked right now, but they should be. And I think they're going to be probably a top 10 or 15 team if they have the outside shooting by the end of the year. I'm not a big SEC guy. I do think Tennessee's the best team in the SEC talent-wise. And, then maybe Kentucky, Alabama, and Arkansas, too reliant on jump shooting. But, yeah, to answer your question finally, I think Tennessee – sorry, my shoulder's messed up. Arizona – I'm going to be a homer for once in basketball, and I do like USC basketball. They're deep and talented, and I like their coach. But, yeah, Texas is going to get much better with their transfers, but Kansas is right there. They lost by 30 to USC in the round of 32 last year, but, they were missing a bunch of dudes. They got transfers.
Real quick. If Tennessee goes to the Final Four, they're going to be in New Orleans. Bourbon Orleans hotels on me for the 4 of us.
Let's go.
Oh, okay.
We'll be there, and we'll do a live.
I've heard that conditional every year.
All right. I'm with you on this one. I'd also add, I'm going to be a homer too in the SEC, but I think Alabama is my team that's just I like their roster, but I haven't seen them play, but I have for basketball. Shane, who do you got?
I mean, what, outside of
Akron?
top 20? No. I mean, Ohio State's close. I mean, they're getting there. They felt or fallen out of the top 25. They're going to be iffy. They'll be there in the tournament. We'll see what happens. Man, I really like Purdue after what I've seen. I mean, Purdue has really impressed me. To match up with Gonzaga. Duke is solid, but to match up with Gonzaga right now, perimeter shooters, defense, big guys, Purdue's got it all. They can match up, and I'm going to put them in there with Gonzaga.
Nice. I agree. I think Purdue's really, really good.
Yeah.
And Matt Painter deserves one.
Yeah.
Now you can coach.
All right, guys. I hate to finish up on college basketball, but I want to go to the NBA for just a second. Don't look like we'll make it to baseball this week, but let's get to the NBA. I will admit, my NBA fandom, Raj always has something up. My NBA fandom is just like this. Yell at me at about game 70. Let me check the box scores to see where everybody's at, and I'll be set for the playoffs by reading Sports Illustrated online one day. So in our little group text, there was some comments flying around. The Lakers are bad. The Warriors are all this. So I got my little old school newspaper today, flipped to the stats page. Yes, I bought a newspaper. And I started reading what's going on in the NBA. I was shocked to find out the Lakers are 10-10. I was also shocked to find out the Golden State Warriors were 16-2.
Why?
I assumed, again, till playoffs time, I don't care. So last image I have of the Warriors last year is without Klay Thompson. The last image I have of the Lakers are still a powerhouse basketball team. The last image I may have is the winning the championship 2 years ago. So here's the question. Yeah. Are the Lakers the trash that I heard them called? And is Golden State Warriors as elite as I heard them called? Shane, you raised your hand first. You can go first.
Yes. So the Lakers are complete trash right now. Like complete trash. I mean, yeah, right now, like this season, like ever, like not going to happen. They will not make the playoffs. I don't think so. Raj. Anyway, so yes, the Warriors are the best team by far, and they don't even have Klay Thompson yet. And as soon as they get Klay Thompson, it is going to like power jump them into the front by like 17 games or whatever. Like they're gonna just obliterate people. The Lakers.
Robbie Davis?
Go
ahead, Shane. You hadn't finished that.
No. I was just.
No. He's got more to say than I've got to say.
I've got a lot to say, so you guys go ahead.
I've got something to say, but it's not pleasant.
I was gonna say it was. I texted you guys last night. I think they are as bad as they were old on the court, and it was just awful to watch. So I'll leave it at that.
Robbie Davis.
I can't believe you asked a question about basketball, NBA basketball.
Hey, dude. I think it's great.
The Warriors, 16-2 without Klay Thompson. The Lakers or something else. Why are they playing basketball before Christmas is my question. Who cares? Like, I don't care. I don't think anyone watching our podcast cares. There can't be any segment of this real population that cares about watching NBA basketball right now. Like, yes, give me NCAA. We got conference tournaments. They at least mean something. I don't understand why we were talking about NBA. Hey, LeBron should be suspended for 10 games. That Isaiah Stewart, or whatever his name is, should be suspended for 20 games. That's all I got to say with the NBA right now. That's it.
He should play.
He
should take Derrick Henry's place.
Yeah, I mean, I who cares about the NBA in November?
Nobody.
Phoebe and I do, because this is Phoebe. We're basketball purists.
I was trying to be all inclusive.
I like basketball, but
I like it too when it matters. And Randall, this is my show too. Like I just want to be fair to the viewers. No one really cares.
I totally agree with you. Is what I'm saying.
My one disagreement is that I like good basketball as a purist. Team basketball. Right now, the only two teams that are doing that are Golden State and Phoenix. They both have a lot of veterans. You know, with Golden State, by the end of the season, yes, but Jordan Poole is the most improved player in basketball, in my opinion. He's playing the two. Klay Thompson's going to come back, who also plays the two. When they go small, it's going to take a little bit of time because there's only one basketball, but they have the best coach in the league, and they're going to be good eventually. I don't think as soon as Klay comes back, because it's a feeling out point. Phoenix is the same exact team. They're going to be good for that purpose. But as to your point about the NBA and the playoffs are all that matters. You just have to get in. The Lakers are going to make the playoffs. As long as everybody stays healthy, they're going to be fine. They have 3 guys that were on the roster last year. And one of them's Talen Horton-Tucker, who was out most of the year. He's the only young infusion of talent, really. But LeBron's missed 11 games. They have Westbrook, who's amazing. But Anthony Davis, there's one basketball. And it takes time. So all they have to do is be in the top 8 seeds, which right now, if the season ends today, they're the 8th seed. They're getting in. And nobody wants to see them in the playoffs because they're going to, conserve players every day and every night. If they'll learn how to play together and they'll shorten the rotation, and they'll be fine. I mean, matching up with Russ, LeBron, and Davis, those are probably the three biggest mismatches in the league physically at their respective positions. Aside from freaks like Durant and Steph Curry. So the Lakers are going to be fine, in my opinion. Basketball, yeah. I mean, I can kind of boil it down to highlight plays right now. It is too long of a season like baseball. Again, Phoenix and Golden State play great team basketball. But in the East, like Brooklyn and Milwaukee, they're basically one or two players right now, even though Milwaukee's the same team. Yes, it doesn't matter. Christmas Day, Martin Luther King Day, which is another, for someone very liberal like myself, interesting how the NBA chose to market that. But days that are just exclusively basketball are kind of the start of the season for me, is my point. And then the playoffs. And so I still care because I love basketball, but am I going to watch a full game if it's Portland versus Sacramento?
Nope.
I'm not going to answer that because I'm just going to swear. So that was rhetorical.
All right. So
Yeah.
for 93 minutes, hosting this show tonight has been like a NASCAR wreck. I feel beat up tonight, guys. I just got to go ahead and tell y'all. I feel like
we're all on vacation.
I thought
y'all
you did
put me
great.
to the wall. I haven't slept in 48 hours, so it's been a rough day.
I thought you did
But
great. Yeah,
I do
your
want to get
tolerance
it was a
is
good
gone.
show, and I want to get to our closing segments. And we didn't get through everything. I probably put too much show out there. But I want to start with putting some people on upset alert. I've got one that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump out of college football. I've been very successful in putting upset alerts out on people in college football. I am going to put the Dallas Cowboys on upset alert. Just don't like the way the Cowboys are playing. I think the Raiders have kind of gathered the storm around them. Henry Ruggs, John Gruden. I don't know why, but I just feel like the Raiders are really going to play the Cowboys lights out. So I'm going to put the Dallas Cowboys on upset alert. And also, that's -7.5. Also, another cheap upset alert. I'm going to put the New England Patriots on upset alert. A 6.5 point favorite over the Tennessee Titans.
7 right
So,
now.
6.5.
No, you're right.
I
It was
got
6.5 this morning. Yeah.
So those are my two teams. Robbie,
Okay.
you're looking hard, studying hard. You want me to come back or you got them?
Oh, come back to me.
I
Okay.
can go.
Hey, check your phone. Check your phone.
Me?
Yeah, then come back to me.
Okay.
All right, he's out. So I am actually 3 for 3 of the last 3 weeks. So I had Purdue over Michigan State, Baylor over Oklahoma, Utah over Oregon, which, I mean, they were favored by 3 on Vegas, but everybody thought Oregon was going to win that game. Anyway, my next one, I'm going to take Florida State over Florida.
Ooh.
Plus 2.5. I'm going to take that as the upset alert. Florida,
The best ugly
they're in
game of the
disarray
year.
right now. What's that?
The best ugly game of the year. Ordinarily, that's
yeah.
like must-see TV, but this year it's like a dumpster fire.
Exactly. And, Mullen's leaving. She's leaving. Florida guys aren't going to be up for it.
All right. Raj Mehta, who you going to put on upset alert?
Well, first I'm going to tackle your Raider question. Henry Ruggs' situation has affected the team. Some people thought it would be a 1-2 week thing and they could kind of get by it. They signed Deshaun Jackson. No, it's affected them in the locker room, on the field. I don't want to put rumors out there. There was a unsubstantiated rumor that another Alabama player was racing him earlier in the night, drag racing, who happens to play running back. I don't think it's true, but that's the Twitterverse, as Rob says. They just haven't figured it out. They're too reliant on Waller. And it's not the defense, and Carr can turn into Carr. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback one week, and then next week he is, who's the Titans backup before Mariota? That guy. I'm just trying to relate to everybody here.
Mettenberger.
Yeah, that guy, Zach Mettenberger. Yeah, that guy was terrible. That's Carr.
Yeah.
I use BetMGM Sports because in Tennessee, something like marijuana is illegal, but I guess gambling is less harmful to the family unit, who needs to pay mortgages anyways. But I use BetMGM Sports, and my point is the only sport I win at is college basketball, and that's win at, meaning that I don't lose my ass. I have to be on my phone to see my BetMGM, and I'm looking at you guys, and you probably don't want to listen to me ramble on. So I don't really know is my point, because ESPN doesn't really update tomorrow's lines. If you want me to go NFL, I agree with the Titans pick. I was like, I forgot. It's my bad. I should have freaking gotten on before. But CBS Sports, can you listen to Robbie, and I won't even say anything aside from my point spread pick tomorrow. It's going to be college basketball.
Bet Your Nuts coming up next with your chance to enter.
Okay, let's go
Robbie
that.
Davis, who
Yeah,
you
I'll
got
wait.
on Upset Alert?
All right, so I just want to take my time. I'll give you my bets in just a second. I want to take a little bit of time. This is just my time. This is not reckless speculations time. This is just for me personally. I want to congratulate the jury in the Ahmaud Arbery shooting, and they convicted those the three people of killing him. And so I want to applaud them. The justice system worked out well, in my opinion. And again, just me, not reckless speculation, but just me. For once. And I was sitting at a bar in Georgia when it happened, and I saw the headlines and said the jury comes back, and I was worried about a riot, and I'm glad that the jury system worked, and I'm glad to be part of that worked. As far as my bets, I think I'm going to go a parlay this weekend. It's going to be a Vols parlay. I like Vols basketball on Friday with Tennessee Tech, a 3 p.m. tip-off. I'll probably be there. And then flip around that to the Vols versus Vandy. Vandy's a horrible team, and Josh Heupel is rolling this momentum into the bowl game. Vols going to cover both games. I like the Vols weekend, the double cover.
What about the upset? You didn't say an upset like me. We need upsets.
I'm getting winners.
How about Ole Miss plus two?
Brandon's the upset.
Hey, I'm 3 weeks in a row right now.
You are the man.
Mississippi State does look good against
Ole Miss is
Thursday
plus
night.
2 at Mississippi State.
Thursday alone with football and basketball. I can't believe I'm traveling tomorrow. It's going to be a fantastic day of sports.
It is. All right. So we got one more set. Robbie gave us his nuts, and Robbie, I agreed with you. I didn't know where you were going, but congratulations. And we get in America, we don't appreciate the legal system enough. As someone who has been in the legal system for a variety of issues, the legal system does work when it's given the opportunity to work.
Yes.
So,
and just, I'll promise to be brief. And for both sides, for all sides, it's a system, and it's there to work, and there's outcomes that both people don't like, but it truly does work if you trust in it and believe in it.
What about the Rittenhouse case? Oh, sorry, never mind. Let's go back.
Yeah, that's why plus and minuses.
yeah,
That's my lawyer.
Yeah,
Brendan, who do you bet on that?
Of course it is.
What's that?
Who's your bet your nuts this week?
My bet your nuts is Ohio
Did we
State.
get your upset alert? I'm lost.
Yeah, he did.
It's fine. I'll give it to you anyway.
Okay.
My bet,
I thought you did.
bet your nuts is Ohio State +8 in Ann Arbor. We're going to beat them by at least 2 touchdowns. So go ahead and count that. My upset was Florida State over Florida.
All right.
Whoa.
And I will give you my bet your nuts. I'm going to give you one every day in college football, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm going to take Ole Miss laying the 2.5. I'm going to take Iowa catching 1.5 or 1 against Nebraska on Friday. And on Saturday, I am going to take Brendan's Ohio State Buckeyes to blow the Michigan Wolverines out. I'm also going to take Ohio State to win the national championship, but that's another show. Raj, Mehta?
Me too.
I like it, man. I agree. I think with everything. You know, you got to go for what you know. Again, college basketball is the sport I like the most probably right now, easily actually. But lines aren't really updated until the day of, so I don't really know. If I'm going football, go for what you know is the pack. How is number 13 BYU only a touchdown favorite against 4-6 USC, which you guys thought Butch Jones in Tennessee was a dumpster fire? Dude, USC is imploding. It's a disaster. They had one great player.
Bowl, but Tennessee would be this year. Nobody.
Actually, I didn't. I knew that if I'm not a Slovis believer, let's just say that, and I know that if it goes bad, especially under the bright lights of Los Angeles, 1 or 2 times, you lose to UCLA, you lose to Notre Dame, it's going to go real bad. You know, I thought Tennessee when they started Joe Milton, so I'm rambling, but bad. Hendon Hooker, good. But yes, Heupel, much better than I thought. Back to the original point, and Randall, I understand your point. You're right. But BYU -7, I think they win by 14. Oregon State opened up as like a 2-touchdown underdog at Oregon, and I was all over that. And so has the public been, and the public sped it down to like 6.5, 7. So I'm going to go BYU, and Notre Dame is going to kill Stanford. Right now it's 19.5. I think they win by 40. So BYU and Notre Dame, and then Ohio State as well are my 3 go-tos for college basketball. I have to tell you tomorrow because I don't know.
All right, guys. You know, this has been a good show. I did like Robbie's idea, so let's go ahead and book it for next week. Every one of the college openings, football openings that's currently available, let's bring a list and hire our coach for every school. I think there's about 12 or 13. That'll be fun to get through. Also, I want to go ahead and announce that we will be doing, and it's going to be sponsored to be announced, but we will be doing our bracket reveal show again. We will probably do that from a point together in one room. We have someone very interested in sponsoring it. Maybe the Common House, maybe Robbie's law office, maybe my living room, so it's cheaper to drink for you guys. I don't know.
Could be Raj's pictures in the back there too, sponsoring.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Carroll, Kobe Bryant,
by the way,
Robert Horry.
Additional bet your nuts. I'm all in on Ohio State over Michigan this week. 8.5. Bet it. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Hey, whoever bets it, I'm good.
I'm clearing the bank accounts on this one. It's game over.
Don't do that, man, because you know you can move the whole debt with that move.
Well,
Rory Randall, there's a maximum.
Actually, whenever I said I'll
those
match
apps.
it, Branson Hills movies on a big account, I'm like, well, I can't match that. So
Yeah.
I'm automatically in default. So I got to change things up.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right, let's go around the room. Final words from Mr. Brandon Moneybag Chain.
Oh,
Scrooge McDuck.
Titans, please get your shit together. Like, we're injury prone right now. It's tough. We've got a leg up on the Colts, but the Colts look like the better team right now. So, damn it, if we can get healthy, we're so good. We got a real shot this year, but we got to be healthy, and it's tough, man. NFL, who knows? Colts.
Raj Mehta, hold on. This segment is brought to you by Hard to Hold the Bottle, Camden Smith's new single, releasing on all streaming methods at midnight tonight. Guys, this kid's only 16 years old, releasing his second single. That's
I don't mean to be
pretty
disrespectful, but who the hell is Camden Smith?
He's a 16-year-old
He's a
kid that we
sponsor.
just did a 2-hour show with. If you were
Oh, is
watching
he our
the
sponsor?
video, you would just know.
I thought you were
also our
joking.
sponsor, you big bonehead.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a sponsor.
Don't
Oh,
you know
my
anything
bad,
about
dude.
media, Raj? God.
But I didn't know he was
What?
16. You're talking about Jack Daniels. I got a 16-year-old. Well, he's now my hero.
That's
if you're
old number
16.
7.
Yeah.
All right, Rod, what's your final words?
So, no disrespect to my boy here. If you're 16 and you're repping Jack Daniels, then you're way
He's
cooler than I
Randall
ever was.
Jr.
Yeah, oh, that's badass. Final words is Gonzaga. Wow. A lot of people thought they'd be a drop-off. I saw multiple times people thought they'd lose a couple games early because they lost Jalen Suggs and Kispert and a few others. Joel Ioni. Dude, they are much better than last year, in my opinion. And everybody loves Drew Timme. He's a media darling. Looks like Leitner. He's the weakness on that team, in my opinion, at least from an athletic standpoint and defensively. They are so much better defensively and so much more athletic and so much faster. And obviously Holmgren, I don't know if you saw that kid. He's got like a 10-foot reach, and he's got quick ups, which is rare. And he's like Evan Mobley. He can handle the basketball. And he's like 7 feet tall. I thought he was overhyped. I thought he would break in half, but he's a lot better than I actually thought because I actually saw him. So don't judge a book. But also, the transfer Strowther, Bolton, the Florida transfer Nembrand, who's been amazing. The freshmen Hickman and Salas, they kind of went Baylor. And I was all over Baylor last year in the championship game because Baylor was 10 times as athletic and physical as Gonzaga. They were slow. And Mark Few is no dummy. He brought that program kind of like Matt Campbell out of nowhere in a place that nobody really wants to live intentionally. And they got faster, and like Tennessee and that Huntley Hatfield kid or whatever, that's the trend. Tall, athletic, kids that can do, very versatile, and Gonzaga learned their lesson. And that's one of the best college basketball teams. Last year, I thought they were way overrated. This year, wow. And it's not just because of UCLA. It's because of what I saw.
Yeah.
All right, Robbie Davis, last words. You got anything else?
Oh, I've got a few things.
NASCAR, is there racing going on?
No, it's gone to the next season. Well, when they said you can't get famous sitting on the toilet, they may have miscalculated my background here.
Yeah.
I want to say enjoyed being with you guys even with my vacation, and also Raj, you need to tell Stephanie that Allison's nominating her for Dancing with the Stars next season. So get prepared for
she does
this.
not want to do that.
Well, it's not
Trust
about
me.
want, it's about a duty.
No.
And guarantee.
It's about a must.
You have to get ready for that.
She's like a skinny
so-
Chris Farley on the dance floor. Like, She is
Other
so
than
white.
that,
Yeah,
no. Other than that, yeah, Stephanie's
No
gonna be in
offense.
Dancing with the Stars, so we'll start the Kidney Foundation charity for her starting probably next week. But
River City
no,
commit.
hey,
tomorrow's
she
gonna be
can
a
do
great
anything.
day for football and
It'll help me out.
basketball. Have you seen the basketball lineup tomorrow? It's awesome. Football as usual. I'm
Mhm.
so excited this weekend for sports. And then I guess that's it till next weekend, guys. And
What's your
then,
bet your nuts?
bet your nuts is
Yeah.
it is Tennessee minus 31 versus Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
Ohio State and Florida right now in basketball.
Tennessee's dropping
1-point
60
game.
again.
40 seconds left.
So I'm gonna wrap it
wouldn't
up real
disagree
fast
with
with my final thoughts. Zakia Ziegler is billed as 5'10". He's probably 5'8" at best.
He can play.
Lightly recruited. Best offer besides Tennessee might have been, Southern Illinois, out of Immaculate Conception in Brock High School. There is something about that kid that is a star. I don't know if he'll be a star in the NBA. I don't know if he'll be an All-American, but there's something about him. When I saw him play, I went, wow.
He has an early Allen Iverson feel to him.
He's tiny, very tiny. But if you haven't seen Tennessee play, I know all the hype is about Kennedy Chandler. Watch Ziegler.
No,
Just watch him run the court.
I watched Tennessee play. My biggest thought over Nova, Villanova. The reason I think the turnover battle was horrendous. Vols had like 18 turnovers. I think they had 7. I mean, they boarded well. They rebound, perimeter shooting, defense. I don't know.
Ziegler had 5 assists to change
Hey.
points to 0 turnovers against North Carolina. He's a freshman that's quick as hell, that makes smart decisions. I mean,
Well,
kind of rocks you to sleep with his motions.
Well,
He's fluid. I saw him play the first game, and I was like, wow, who is this?
Raj,
Yeah.
Raj, you can agree or disagree with me about this as basketball feature people that watch it. This is the first year that Rick Barnes has came into this shoot threes philosophy, and he told them to keep shooting against Villanova. They kept missing against Villanova, and that's okay. And they started hitting against North Carolina, and they're gonna keep doing that all year long. They're gonna live it. They're not live and die by the three, but they're gonna shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah.
And that's changed from Barnes' philosophy in the past.
No, it was a big difference what I saw in the 2 games. I didn't watch the full game, but I watched the highlights of them.
Yeah.
And turnovers were a big thing. Villanova had a lot better defense. They moved the ball way better, rebounded better. But then you guys bounced back.
Villanova is also coached by probably the second best active coach right now.
Probably. Well, guys,
Yeah.
It's been a great show. I have officially slept 1 hour and 41 hours. I went to West Virginia.
That's what's me.
I went to West Virginia last night. I drove to Memphis this morning and back. I'm about to go to sleep and sleep until it's Friday. So I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And we'll go ahead and commit to sponsoring Stephanie for next year, Dare to Dance up front.
Hey, real quick, very important, aside from Florida beating Ohio State at the buzzer on Fox Sports News.
Did that just happen?
That just happened. Everson Griffin of the Minnesota, he hit a 3 as time expired. Florida did. It was tied. It was amazing. Everson Griffin, though, this is serious. Mental health is, we talk about this all the time. Everson Griffin, if people don't know, Minnesota Vikings, he put a very disturbing story on Instagram this morning about people trying to kill himself. He's had mental concerns. People would say issues twice before in the past. Former USC Trojan, that doesn't matter. NFL player, that doesn't matter. He's a human being. And I've said this multiple times. We shouldn't need a breaking point and Instagram and the news for this to become relevant. This is a serious issue. He was held up in his house. He did not leave his house. He has a family. He had displayed a gun when he was locked himself in a room and said people were trying to kill him. This has happened multiple times before. He peacefully came out, and he's getting the help he needs.
Hey,
don't be afraid to get the help you need. Speak up. This is not the 50s. It's not a wuss thing. It's serious.
And real quick, if I can say one thing, we put this together not to be clickbait and not to do things that are, we're going to be, outlandish. We're saying things that we really care about and what we really mean. And so, like, what we say is what we really think is important. And so we're not going to say things that just grab clicks, because we want to be a legitimate show that legitimately helps people and helps people understand sports and life and what we think. We're not experts, but we don't want to be morons just searching for clicks.
Also, to close it out on that note, if you're feeling that way, 1-800-273-8255, 24 hours, 7 days a week, the National Suicide Hotline. I've never made a secret of I've had some issues in my past. I didn't actually call that number, but I did call a number and ask for help one night. And thank God somebody was on the other end of that phone. So it's a serious, and it can be drugs, it can be alcohol. There's a lot of reasons, but always reach out before it's too late.
On a lighter note, either Brandon and I are going to be on that phone line after this weekend.
Yeah, it will 100% be Robbie.
Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and state I will bet your nuts that I beat Robbie this week. Bet your nuts on that right now.
You're nuts.
Yeah. From 1-5, Randall, to 5-6 and in the playoffs, we bid you good night. God bless. And call the number if you need it. I'm going to bed.